More is always better is the family motto. And the name of my new EP by me, your boy, Milligram. And today we are here to discuss the track list, the process of making the EP, joined today by super producer, bassist, guitarist, percussionist, melodic master. It's Mr. Easy Bake. Jeff, how's it going?
Good. Good to see you guys.
Also joined today by the amazing engineer. He can engineer anything musically. It's Mr. D1.
Hello.
Very distinct style. Chris, how's it going?
Going good.
All right, so first up on the track list, we've got the song Blood from a Stone. This one was just a straight up and down ripoff of All My Life by the Foo Fighters. I don't know why. I just was like really into that song at the time. I was like, I just want to completely just straight up rip this fucking thing off. And what I really remember about this one was how shittily I sang it. Because we recorded it at your house, and then we recorded it at your house, and then we had to re-record it at your house because I could not fucking sing it right. We eventually landed on something that is passable as singing. So, Jeff, what do you remember about this one?
Yeah, so don't feel bad about doing 1001 takes on the vocals because I did just as many on the guitar. What happens is Matt usually comes with an idea of like, I want this vibe, or let's do this. So I'll try my best to mirror whatever he's on about at the moment, which was Foo Fighters, and did my best, but I suck at guitar, and
Lies!
Yeah, it's a lie.
No, so that's how we work. Matt brings me some ideas, and then I go from there. Sorry.
You're good.
That's
good.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I felt like I was being too serious. First podcast ever. Okay.
No, I will handle the jokes.
Okay.
Complete seriousness
Okay.
from you two at all fucking times. No, you can joke. Also, fun behind-the-scenes fact, there's a vocal in the beginning that says, turn up the guitar! And that's you.
I was actually just thinking about that on the way here. I was like, I wonder what that was from.
That's from Jeff, right?
Yeah, that's me screaming.
Yeah.
Thinking it was a good idea at the last minute.
No, it's fucking fire. It
Turn up the guitar!
Yes.
Yeah.
You heard it here
It
first.
sounded like it was something from like Mallrats or something.
Yeah. It ended up working. It's probably honestly one of my favorite parts of that song for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we do not have the money to clear samples, so we're not doing that shit either. So yeah, that's basically I'll bring us it can be as dumb as like I want to rip off this specific Foo Fighters song to here's a fully written song to I don't know what the fuck I want to do today. What do you have to Jeff? And then we get the magic going from there. Then we take that turd and we go to D1's house and we polish it up real nice, and we redo vocals on a good microphone. And then it becomes good after Chris painstakingly fixes everything and mixes it to perfection. Do you remember anything from the mixing of that record? Or anything that stood out to you?
Mixing it 3 times.
Fuck you.
No, actually, after like having the first mix on it, like what I'm going to do isn't going to change too much. Because you're not completely changing the song. You're just tightening things up. So it's basically redoing the tuning on it.
Nice.
And once that's done, I just throw on the same plug-in chains that I had on the original mix, and it's good to go.
If that's the case, why do I still have to pay full price for it? Is
Well,
what our viewers want to know.
It should have been cheaper.
I'm just fucking with you. I don't remember. Okay. I feel like that's really all I've got. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward like rock song. Like,
Oh, wait, is there any? Like,
Why don't we
with it?
tell the audience what blood on a stone
Yeah,
means?
oh, blood from a stone. Yeah, that's just about life being a bitch.
Because I had no idea what blood from a stone meant.
You never heard
But
that phrase?
Never.
You can't get blood
No.
from a stone?
No, I
don't
figured
think
that
I
out.
heard that either.
That was like retroactively I figured out what that was because I'm like, he said it like 70 times. What the fuck does this mean?
Oh, like
I
you
had
can't.
no idea.
You can't like squeeze anything more. You can't get blood out of a stone. Like, if you squeeze a stone, no blood's gonna come out. Like,
is that like a biblical saying?
Possibly.
Sounds like something that would be in the Bible.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but no, that song is just
It's
basically
directly from scripture. Yeah.
Yes, it's from
Leviticus.
3:14. No, it's from John 3:16. Is that Stone Cold's?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. No, that song is just about life being a bitch.
Yeah.
And like,
so kids,
everything's expensive, everyone wants everything, and life is just a bitch.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Don't Turn Off Your Love, parentheses, Tonight. This song, I remember I went over to Jeff's house and I sat down and I said, I set the scene for you. I said, picture it's 1977, you're on a yacht, you've got a button-down shirt, a bunch of gold chains, chest hair on fleek, and you're just blasted out of your mind on cocaine. What do you hear? Mm-hmm. And then I'm picturing, I don't know what I was picturing, like a yacht rock, like a new age Hall & Oates type deal, and then you just came out with this crazy funky ass riff that I don't think really hit on what I was going for, but was like super fire nonetheless, and we just fucking rolled with it. What do you remember about that?
Yeah, I had a ton of fun with that song. That was right around the time that I got a brand new synthesizer, and it was one of those things where like you find a sound and you're like, ooh, what the fuck? Like, that's fucking cool. Let's do something with that. So I tried to use that sound, and if you listen to the song, it's one of the first elements that you hear after that intro that Matt did, which is a pretty dope intro, by the way.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, the song is just like debauchery and like I said, you're partying in a yacht in the 70s, and then I'm so far removed from that like kind of lifestyle. Not that I ever partied on a yacht in the first place, but like that kind of stuff. And we had so much space for that like opening part. And was that my idea to do like the disclaimer, or was that you or you?
No,
or?
that was all you. And we fit it in, I believe, like halfway through the song. We're like, oh, let's do an intro, because sometimes we work backwards or in weird ways. So that came like halfway through. We decided to put that disclaimer in, and then I just added some like goofy rhythmic guitar in front of it. But
yeah. And I also remember you were saying how cheesy the drum sounded in the hook.
Oh,
I fucking love that. That's exactly what I wanted. And then in the hook also, when I say tonight, I'm picturing like SpongeBob when he holds up the thing and it's like glowing or whatever.
I remember you were like, oh, one of the things we got to do is in the hook, I got to hit falsetto when I say tonight. Turn off!
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess we can fucking do that, man.
Some Queen, some Bee Gees, like just like a crazy like falsetto up there.
Yeah, and we like dropped all instruments out just so we could hear the quality of Matt's falsetto, just in its glory.
My dog shit falsetto that I probably had to do 25 times in a row. That's another key part of all my songs is Jeff like holding my hand through like, that's too low, that's too high, that pitch is wrong, you're early, you're late, that sounds like shit, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. So ideally, then by the time we get to Chris's house and record it on the good microphone, I've got that stuff like dialed in and I can practice it or whatever.
That's
Chris,
my favorite song on the album.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I do remember like the hook, it just reminds me so much of 311. So I took like that approach with the mixing, did like that chorusy effect on the vocal. I feel like it kind of like really brought that hook together.
Oh yeah. I remember when you emailed the first mix over and you were like, yeah, it has kind of like a 311 vibe, and then the song was 3 minutes and 11 seconds long.
That's fucking
And I was
weird.
like, what the fuck? That was sick.
God is real, ladies and gentlemen.
I just imagine like if you did like if you got super famous
when
you get super famous and you're like on tour and you're like at a stadium, like haven't gone on yet, lights just like go black and you just hear Pussy and Moscato.
Bro, then we have fucking S.A. Martinez from 311 come out and read the disclaimer at the beginning. Bro, that would be so fucking sick. Shout out to S.A. Martinez.
What was the one line? giggity, giggity, giggity,
Oh,
give
yeah.
give your
that was a
bitch a
struggle.
hot flash.
Yes.
I like
giggity,
that one,
giggity,
yeah.
giggity. I can't do it right now either. Giggity, giggity. Bro, we recorded that so many times. You try and say giggity, 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 give your bitch a hot flash in time, in tune. It is fucking impossible. I remember we did that so many times. And it just didn't work. And I don't know.
I think we chopped together. We comped them all and then cut in the best parts of each one. But then when I was mixing it, it still sounded too chopped together. And I think I ended up just taking the best one that flowed the best and then duplicating that 3 times.
Dude, this is why you're the best, and this is why like you cannot skimp on mixing. Get a fucking good engineer to mix your shit, because that saved it. Because I could have sat there all day giggity 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 and never would have fucking got it.
It is hard to say.
And it's so helpful because I have no idea how to do any of that. Like, I can lay down all the guitar tracks in the world, but I cannot comp vocals to save my life.
Bro, I just watched Chris like mix, and it's just like just fucking full on X Games mode. Just like, it's so fucking fast. You're fast too, but you're fast like tracking guitar. Like you'll just play the same riff. Like no, it is so fucking fast. Just like get a million takes out in 2 minutes. Ooh, okay. This is a contender for my favorite on the album. Is "Feelin' Jiggy on a Friday Night." Now this song, I feel like there's 2 kinds of women in this world. There's a normal woman who does not care about their partner's butthole. And then there's the kind of woman that is borderline obsessed in an unhealthy way with their partner's butthole. My wife falls into the latter category. The amount of times I've almost had a finger find its way in there is alarming. I still have a perfect defense record so far. And I don't know how that song came about. I remember you had the riff, maybe? Did we want to do an acoustic song?
We wanted to do like some sort of like outlaw country acoustic kind of vibe, and
Did not land on that at all.
no, like it always does. It ends up in left field, but I believe you had the idea of I want to say feeling jiggy about something. So we used that backdrop with the idea of like acoustic outlaw country, whatever the fuck, to take it to where it was.
Interesting. That's so funny. Like it's so dumb. Like how some of these songs start. Like I literally just be like, I want to say "feeling jiggy" because it starts "feeling jiggy on a Friday night," and then no idea how we landed on the song being about my wife trying to put her fingers in my butthole.
Yeah, I noticed for us a lot. Like we'll, especially on nights that it's like the flow state is hard to reach or whatever. Like when it's not as smooth as you want it to be. We'll kind of venture into like joke songs a lot.
Yeah.
Which turns out to be like honestly one of the coolest nights out of the bunch, because like for a lot of like music for me is like not taking it too serious.
Oh yeah.
For sure, because I'll get locked in on like what I want it to sound like, what I want to convey, the emotions I want to, all that stuff that like at the end of the day, like if I'm not authentically like speaking through music and I'm trying to fit inside a box, then it's not going to work. So a lot of the times that we like end up butting heads for those nights, we'll just be like, fuck it, let's make a joke song. Yeah. Or like, and so that's where the butthole came from. We decided to talk about buttholes.
But see, that's also something like I'm always telling people I work with, like, don't let me just turn everything into a fucking joke, because I don't want to be like a Lil Dicky style, like there's some serious songs, there's some funny songs, there's some serious songs with jokes in them, there's some joke songs with serious stuff in them. And also what I remember about that was like, because that's what I love about that song, it's like it starts off so like sincere and endearing, like a country song about like the woman you love, and then it's just like whip out my dick, which is like right into my line of humor. But I do remember going back and forth because you kept trying to put drums on it.
Yeah.
I remember that, and I was like staunchly anti-drum for that one because we've never done an acoustic song.
Yeah, I think with the only percussion that we ended up with was like 808 snare hit or what not an 808, but
There's a vocal chop.
there might be an 808, but I know that there's a snare hit in the hook.
Oh, you fucker! You snuck
But
it.
yeah.
Too late now.
Yeah.
Unless you want to pay me again.
Huh?
Unless you want to pay
Hell
me
no,
again.
no. It
We
is
can
done.
do a
It's-
remix.
No,
We
it's
can.
already mastered. It's done. Chris, what do you remember about mixing that one? Like, do you mix much acoustic stuff?
Yeah, I have done a few songs, and I mean, it's definitely rare. It's obviously easier because there's less stuff that I gotta like fit together. But I had fun with that one. She let me go crazy with the sound effects,
Oh
the
yeah.
cartoon sound effects, and I had like just downloaded a bunch of like classic like Looney Tunes sound effects and stuff. So I was already stocked up and ready to go. But I went nuts on it, and we probably cut. How many? You probably had me cut about 50% of it, and there's still a lot in there.
Yeah. I remember I was on vacation at the beach with my family. And I was
When
like,
you
I
got the
saw the
mix.
mix come through. I was like, I'm gonna go listen to this outside by myself. Like, I'm gonna not like let my aunts and uncles hear this one.
Give me the aux cable.
Yeah. Oh fuck no. And it was so many sound effects and stuff. So many copyrighted sound effects.
Yeah, there were
that-
some very recognizable ones. in
Yeah,
there.
that I was like, let's chop out a bunch of these stuff because I don't want to put this thing on fucking YouTube. And I'm always trying to think of the long game of like, if it does well in streaming, I want to shoot a video. I can't just do a cheap performance video. I want to pull out all the stops. I asked Jeff if he knew how to ride a horse. Like before we even finished recording the songs, I had this whole like Western theme I want to do for a music video possibly, and like to get a copyright claim on that down the line would be a real bitch. So, yeah, we cut out a good number of those sound effects.
Yeah.
But you crushed it nonetheless. So yeah, that was the first acoustic-ish song we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Only to be followed by the first spoken word song I've ever done. If you can even call a spoken word a song, I don't think that you can.
We just did.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So this is I'm Thinking About Horses Part 2. This is like a deep cut reference from a Mansion's first album, a Mike Posner spoken word entitled I'm Thinking About Horses. And it's like a 7.5 minute spoken word, and it's so fucking good. And I remember I was with my then girlfriend, now wife at the time, and we were laying in bed, she was asleep, I couldn't fall asleep, and I just like started just like stream of consciousness, like writing this thing down on my phone, and I kept thinking, I'm like, this doesn't sound like a song, and I was like, oh, I'll do like a spoken word type thing, and I had like a couple different things going on at the time, so I just kind of threw like all that in there together. And this was one that Chris, you actually did the bulk of the production on this one. And it's, I think what's interesting is the final product, like that was one take on my part of like
Just acapella too.
yeah, of just like reading it through. And I kept taking breaks and be like, so when you hear those on the record, like I'm taking a break, but it's also like very like emotionally taxing to like read that out loud and share that with people because it's like wildly personal. And I remember we did one take, and like the second you stopped recording, you're like, oh, here we go, and you hit the rewind thing in there. Can you talk about like building that out from like, I mean, the production is amazing on there.
Appreciate it. Yeah, because I was just feeling like there needed to be something kind of in the background because it's kind of long.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something to kind of carry it through, and especially with how serious it was. And I was like, all right, I'll just do some like kind of like meditative kind of sounds like you hear if like you're getting a massage or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then you did that part where you mentioned sorting sand.
Oh yeah.
Those lines. So I was thinking, all right, if we cut in those lines, because you actually just said them, I send emails, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like, I wonder if I cut in the actual vocal from that song into there, how that would sound mixed with music, but then obviously it has to match the key. So I was like, I'm going to play chords that match the key of that song and try to match the tempo. So I had to kind of like shift your vocals around a little bit when I was doing the production, so it sounded like it was in sync. But that part ended up sounding really dope when it came together.
Dude, the part in the spoken word that I sing of like from Sorting Sand sounds better than it does in Sorting Sand to me, because it just like stands out by itself like that. But and that was there's a couple instances, the Don't Turn Your Love Off, the spoken word one, and I want to say Psycho Killer are mixes that you sent back that me and Jeff listened to. We're like, no, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, like your percentage of sending back mixes that I have like no notes on, because like, or when we do have notes, we're so like fucking anal retentive about it. It's like it's
always like super small stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, just turn up this guitar here.
Always Jeff wanted to turn the guitars up. Always.
Well, it's to segue from that. I remember Chris was trying to get me to make some guitars for that song, and I remember just for whatever reason I never got to it, and I'm so glad I didn't, because what you ended up doing, because you did end up putting some, I don't know if it was just a sample or what, but the guitar that you did put in it is like,
we did have you like kind of riff little things.
Did I add my guitar on it?
Yes, you fucking did.
Did I really?
Yes. Yeah.
But you crushed it.
Okay, so
it was at the end of one of our really long
was it just like a
sessions.
one and done thing? And
I think you did.
I truly don't have a memory of that.
2 or 3 tracks all the way through.
Dude, I was driving.
But you were
here
just kind of
listening to
like
that
sitting
song.
there, like you do, like when you're just sitting in the back noodling around. Like,
okay.
Like probably half of it was like not even really usable. You're just like kind of messing with the sounds that I'm pulling up on, because I was using Guitar Rig instead of you using your normal effects thing that you use for your guitar.
So you just cut out like some sections and put it on.
And then move stuff around to wherever it like fit for the vibe and like building things up. But yeah,
it
pretty much all the guitar on there is you.
That's hilarious. Well, I'm
That
driving
was at
here.
the
I'm
end of
listening to the song.
That was like an 8-hour session or something.
Yeah.
And then it was like right before he left, you're like, oh yeah, you want to do this real quick. So
It's just a last minute thought.
Yeah.
Well, literally, I was listening to it coming here, and I'm like, damn, I'm so glad I didn't add any guitars, because what Chris added was fucking fire. That's insane. Okay.
And it's a bunch, because I kept saying, I always call them cowboy chords.
yeah.
That's not the technical term. What's the technical term?
Vibrato. Yeah, just a
Vibrato. chord,
chord, usually with like a Bigsby vibrato, whatever guitar.
Like that
tremolo
bendy
system.
sound.
Yeah, the bendy country, like, yeah.
Slide guitar uses it
Like
quite a
twang.
bit.
Yeah. Put a little stank on it.
Yeah, flavor.
Bro, that's so fucking funny.
That's
Like,
insane.
damn, Chris is really good at guitar, too. That's
It would
cool.
have been funny
honestly, I
if you
thought it
had
was a
been
sample.
listening to it and been like, damn, I should have played guitar on this. This shit sucks.
Yeah, no, it was the other way around. Man. I genuinely thought it was a sample. That's funny.
That's so funny. I'm interested to see how that one is received, because it's like so wildly personal, and it's like a spoken word, but it's like
It's very different.
very different. Yeah.
And that's one of those things where you're talking about super fucking serious, but then it's like, maybe my ball's sick.
Oh yeah.
Maybe my balls.
And you put the
Yeah.
in there. It's so good.
You carried it really well with like you were. I feel like with the production, it was really patient, and it allowed for the story to be told, and then reacted from what was being said from Matt.
Yeah.
And you use that as a catalyst to bring in like more instrumentation or whatever.
Yeah.
In a really like subtle, graceful, like
Yeah.
awesome way.
Appreciate it. It was actually good timing too, because I had done 2 or 3 spoken words for another artist, like
Oh, okay.
maybe a month before that, where he was having me produce all his stuff. So it was like perfect timing where I had been in that rhythm of like figuring out what to do with all that, and he was doing like, it was really like visual stuff he was saying, so it was like a lot of sound effects coming in and out of
Nice.
that, and then having some kind of production in the background to carry. But yours definitely like took another leap as far as the production goes.
Hell yeah. Next song, Psycho Killer Dance Party, featuring our friend Vinny on Fire. And now this one, Jeff, you had a riff, or this was almost a fully fleshed out song maybe. Sometimes I come over and you have like a full instrumental and like even a couple like words plucked in random spots. What was
the hook melody, the guitar portion of the hook was already fleshed out.
Yeah.
So that was actually from I used to be in a like punk, post-punk, hardcore, whatever subgenre you want to decide it sounds like, and I used a very similar chord progression in the band that I used to be in high school. This was like 2008, and I had just been playing around like a few days before that with like just some old stuff I used to play as a high schooler, and then I made that riff from the foundation of one of the old Bright City is the band name. Go look it up. We're on Spotify.
Shout out Bright City.
One album. Yeah, so that was the foundation for the riff. But the riff was so money that we were... I mean, that was one of the nights that it was just... The flow state was definitely reached quickly, and we didn't really have to work for much of the material at all. It just kind of came out.
Yeah, I remember you had that, and you kept telling me, like, I just keep hearing, like, Psycho Killer. And I was like, got it. And that's one of those, like you were saying, the flow thing. I just sit down, I was like, I'm writing as fast as, like, I'm typing as fast as I'm writing it, and it's, like, such a quick song to get wrapped up. And then, I don't know, it's interesting, like, I feel like some artists, like, the features are, like, super strategic, especially, like, with a lot of rap, like, every new album that's, like, with features from, and they list, like, 25 fucking people, and it's like, bro, I don't buy like a, I don't buy like a 21 Savage album because I'm dying to hear a new Future verse, even though he's gonna be on half the fucking songs. Like every song is like that. I feel like when we run into features, it's usually like we write and record it, and then it's like I'm just kind of like out of things to say. Like I feel like I've said enough, or just like feels like this would be good for a feature, and I had Vinny in mind for something for a while, and it just felt like he would be like a solid fit for that.
He was a perfect fit for that song.
Yeah. And he came through, I sent it to him, and he came through the studio, which I fucking love. Like, when I'm getting a feature from somebody, you can do like the email game back and forth, which sucks, but like to get someone in live in the studio with you is so much fucking better, because then you can like walk them through it and stuff. And I remember he was like a little self-conscious about writing it, because he's like, I don't do a lot of like the writing by myself. And I was like, we'll help you knock it out. And we played off some of the video game references. He still wrote like 90% of that verse.
Yeah, he did.
I think I threw like 3 things in, and everything else he was like, it's like, oh, I can't write, and then proceeds to write a verse like immediately.
Yeah, and I was thinking that when I was listening to it on the way here, I was like, this is actually a really well-written verse for how much he didn't want to write.
I know. I think he's full of shit. I'm calling you out right now. What do you guys remember from that session?
Yeah, Vinny was fun to work with because he was, like we were saying, kind of self-deprecating in a way that like he definitely shouldn't have been, because he knocked it out fast and quick. But he was a kind of a joy to work with for me, because I could just tell him like, yo, just hit these notes. And he's got such a high register that he was like, I don't know if I can hit that octave, but I'm like, give it a shot. And he would like, boom, knock it out and be surprised afterwards. Like, damn, I didn't think I had that in me. So it was kind of a joy to work with somebody who would like have limitations set for themselves in their own mind.
Doesn't
and just
understand
like,
his limits.
And just fucking plow through them like back to back to back. It was cool because, yeah, that stuff's cool to see.
Yeah.
I posted a clip from that session, and a couple people jumped in the comments and were like, don't pitch up, just natural vocals are the way, don't pitch up his vocals, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
which part?
The harmony on the end of his verse, when he just like I think it hit that higher octave and just unloads. Like I remember sitting in the studio just being like, Jesus, like that was loud as fuck and so high. Like to maintain that level of power with such a high register is crazy.
Yeah, when he layered the hook at the end.
Oh yeah.
Like my throat hurt. afterwards, just listening to him do that. And he did like I think 3 layers of it.
Maybe, yeah. And that's the other good thing about having them come in the studio. It's like, yeah, you want a verse, but then it's like, while you're here, like, just layer up this hook, help out on the bridge, whatever. And like, if we keep it, we keep it. If we don't, we don't. And I feel like we kept him on the bridge and the final hook.
You originally had him try the bridge, and then I forget what the logic was of it. Maybe just like what you were saying, it just didn't make sense for you guys both to be singing it. But he might actually be really low in the background on that. But I know his vocal comes up more at the very last line of that, where it sounds like you're like falling.
Yeah.
And he does that scream.
Oh, yeah.
Scream.
That shit was fire.
That's what I was thinking of, the scream where I'm sitting there and it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, and that song is basically, like if you've seen the movie Jennifer's Body, that could be like fit that soundtrack.
Yeah.
And
my personal favorite on the album.
That's yours?
Oh, it is?
Okay.
I think it might be mine also. I don't know. So you like Don't Turn Your Love Off.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is Psycho Killer. Bro, I might have to go Psycho Killer too.
Yeah, I think it just works really well. I feel like it's very cohesive. Short, fast, like you tell your story, you're out.
I think I'm also always biased towards songs that have features on them because it's not just me listening to myself the whole time. I'm like, oh, here comes the Vinny part. This part's sick. Like, I don't know.
One of the few artists that doesn't want to hear themselves.
I do. On the last album, one of my favorites is "Pouring from My Pores" with the amazing and talented Darian Gerard from Vancouver, British Columbia. Shout out to you. She fucking crushed it.
Oh yeah.
Bro, that was, we had to do emails because she was in Canada and this was like during COVID, I want to say. But she sent over, like, I don't know how I stumbled across her music and I was like, oh, she'd be perfect. And bro, she sent us back like dry vocals.
Yeah, like multiple takes too of it, like to let us pick and choose from it.
Yeah, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
So shout out to her. That was awesome. But that was like one of my favorites off that album, and I think because I don't have to listen to myself for 2.5 or 3.5 minutes, whatever it is. All right, so rounding out the bunch, we've got Sorting Sand. This song was written right when there was a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. That is a real place. And there was like a chemical spill or something with it. And I had like the company I was working for at the time was like a fully remote job. And it's about like the difference between like, you know, all the stuff with like COVID, you know, like all social issues like COVID, like mass shootings, like this train derailment, like, you know, all these billionaires doing all this crazy stuff. And, you know, you look at your phone and it's like, COVID-19 is going to kill us all. Like, Elon Musk is going to Mars. Like, all this crazy shit. Oh, there's a train derailment and, like, you're drinking lead right now. You look at your cell phone and then it's like, oh, got to log on for my 9 a.m. team meeting to talk about, like, the spreadsheets and the fucking Excel TPS reports. And it's just such a crazy way to live life. Like, that hit me so much during COVID. I don't know about you guys, but, like, you know, you turn on the news 1 minute and it's like, you are going to die. If you step outside, you will combust into flames and you will die. And Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk will tag team your corpse and then fly you to Jupiter. And then the very next thing you see in the news is like, make sure you clock into work. Like, we still need money and rage on with capitalism. And I remember that one, I had written that all the way. Like, verses, hook, bridge, everything. And then I think I sent it to you first, Jeff. It just as a text or a PDF of just like, here's a fucking song, figure it out. Just the lyrics. Yeah. And I feel like that's the first time we've ever really done that.
Yeah, that was. I think that was the one and only where you texted me a full song of lyrics and then I wrote from that. Yeah.
Did you do the melody?
Yeah.
The vocals?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you were like, "What melody do you have?" And I like sent you like a voice memo. I was like, "You're like, oh great, and they completely changed it because it was shit. That was another one, just like Blood from a Stone, where we had to re-record it like 3 fucking times.
I was surprised you put it on the album because on the spoken word, you're like, I probably won't put it out because I sing it like shit.
But that's yeah. But then I thought about it even more because I was like, it's too good of a song.
It's also really good, like last song.
Yeah. That exactly. So it's the last song on the album, and it's like you get like a little teaser on the spoken word one about it, and then you're like, oh shit, he really did do this one. And he didn't sing it that terribly. It's passable almost. I also remember the bridge on that one.
Fucking love the bridge on that one.
Yeah, but originally we had a.
Oh yeah. We had like a little backing track of like whoa, and it sounded like tribal or something, which in theory it was cool, but we couldn't make it fit in the mix. Yeah, this is. Miraculous as Chris's works are, we couldn't make that fit in the mix.
No.
To no fault of Chris, but
yeah, more fault.
It was
me.
just a lot going on, so we ended up scrapping it.
And it's so funny, like the things that like. Do you have that with other artists, Chris, where like they want to put something like a little, like even something as small as like a backing track on a bridge, and then you're mixing it, and you're like, this is not.
You're just trying to crowbar it in.
Yeah, and we ended up cutting it out, and it sounds way better. And then when I listen to it now, I'm waiting for that part to hit, and it doesn't. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Well, if it says anything, I don't notice it missing anymore. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But yeah, sometimes people do, but I try to be honest with people, and they let me know if they're cool with me being honest about, like, I don't think this works, or I'll just try to make it work as best as I can. But sometimes it's also like, I'll hear it later and be like, actually, I do like that, even though I didn't like it at the time. So yeah, it's just about the moment.
Yeah, it's helpful to have a voice of reason too, because one of the things that like I got used to doing was when a track was not doing it for me for whatever reason, my remedy to it would be just to add more parts. And that's really problematic. It's like I've had to learn from experience that like adding stuff into something that's not working foundationally is not going to fix it. It's just going to muddy up the mix. It's going to the main melody is going to get lost. Like there's too many like just fighting elements that. So like one thing that I do like appreciate from Chris is like a streamlined approach that. Like if it doesn't need to be don't fucking add it. Like,
yeah, if it's not adding something and like you're gonna turn it down to the point where you almost don't even know it's there anymore, it's like just cut it.
Exactly.
But to your point though, adding on top of stuff that's not working, then like, oh, I found this that works, and then cut everything else that you started with, and then use that as the basis, and then you can build on that. Sometimes that ends up working out really well.
Yeah, like a happy accident.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, shit,
it's just about not sitting there and spinning your wheel in mud, trying to make that first part of it work.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes my job easier too, because then a lot of times I'm just having to like, because I feel like we work together enough at this point where I know like it's easier for me to sit there and be like, okay, let's take this part out. It's easier to take parts out than to be like add parts in.
Yeah, like it's too late and it's missing something, and now I'm not like in the same vibe that I was when I started making this.
Yeah. And then also to know, like, I feel like especially when all three of us are in the studio, part of my job is to reel you two in and not
We'll start going crazy.
Not tune a snare for 4.5 fucking hours, because you will do that. But yeah, I feel like that one turned out good. And then it's also like some of the stuff, like you've got to stick to your guns on, but some of the stuff, like there's give and take with all of it, because I know specifically Blood from a Stone and Sorting Sand, like Jeff, you didn't like either of those.
No, especially Blood on the Stone, or Blood from a Stone, from the Stone, Blood from the Stone,
Blood from a Stone,
Blood from a Stone. Yeah, and that's funny because that's come full circle too, to be right on the top of the list of like the tracks that I dig on hardest. And yeah, that's how it goes, man. Like and then like the whole like phenomenon of like the audience engaging in the songs that you least think that they would engage in. Like for a lot of our tracks, I feel like, oh, this Psycho Killer is going to be the one,
Every
man.
time.
That's going to be the one. And then that song is like wildly forgotten. And then the one that we're like not even really enjoying ever is the one that the audience connects with.
I feel like Psycho Killer could have been left off the album. Like, what?
Yeah.
Who said that?
No, I'm saying that's what somebody will say.
Oh, yeah.
It'll fuck your mind up. Like, what, are you kidding me?
And like, it's so funny. I know that about you guys. Like, Jeff, you always go through the full spectrum of emotion with every song. Like, we record, you're like, this is fucking fire. And then, like, 2 weeks later, I'm like, do we have it done yet? You're like, no, it fucking sucks. And then, like, I have to, like, push and prod and pull you to get it done, to get ready to go to Chris's house. Then we record at Chris's house, and you're like, oh, this song is fucking sick.
Yeah.
And then, like, he sends us the mix. And then if you don't reply to the text chain, I'm like, oh, Jeff hates it. And you're like, this fucking guitar I played, like, this one note that only, like, an expert guitar enthusiast of 25 years would ever know is, like, slightly off or just, like, not your cup of tea. And then, like, 6 months or however many months it's been now, you're like, oh, I fucking love it again.
Yeah, it's so like I have an aha moment. Like, okay, I get what I originally was
It's weird, too, like, stepping away. Like, I hadn't listened to any of these songs for a while.
Yeah.
And then just listening to it in, like, full album format, which I liked the way you
the track
did
list.
the track list. Yeah, it flows really well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just hearing it on, like, fresh ears, it's like, all right, now I'm actually hearing it how other people are going to hear it. And I'm not, like, nitpicking every little thing that I was still thinking about when I was mixing it.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. And I feel like listening to it as a cohesive thing really, like, sets it in for me. Because, Jeff, you were super against starting off with Blood from a Stone.
Yeah.
Was I?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We should start with Psycho Killer.
Song sucks.
Yeah. And again, like you're saying, like, when it comes out, I can't wait to see what people gravitate towards. Because we're never right. We've never been right about, like, this is the one, and it's like, that's the least streamed one, and then it's some random song that is the one that does all the numbers. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, that's it.
The single.
Oh yeah.
Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do like a little wrap up, and then we'll.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
Duh.
I spilled it.
No, you're good. I'll just cut it out. So that's it. More is always better. The new EP by Milligram, me, recorded, produced in full by Mr. Easy Bake over here. Jeff, wave to the people. Your boy.
Hi guys. Yeah. Yeah. Here I am.
And then engineered by the distinct Mr. D1, who also produced the spoken word one. That Jeff apparently did play guitar on, that he's finding out for the first time in his life. June 27th, we out here. Milligram, more is always better on all streaming platforms. Like and describe. Thank you.
Like and describe?
Instead of subscribe, it catches the ear.